What it do, homies? It's your boy Dave, and I'm back today. We out here with a Patreon request. This time we're checking out Kamelot, the Human Stain. Now, as you guys know, I always need to have the lyrics when I can, so I can make sure I catch as much as I can on the first listen. So let's shut up and turn it up. Okay, that intro was that intro was pretty cool, man. If you take a listen at that, and where it was like 1, 2, right, 3, 4, it almost had a sense of steel being hit, and like you know, like a blacksmith in there that's just kind of like hammering away at some steel. That's really nice. And then when the melody came in, right, that kind of gave me like another sense, because I'm sitting here and it's called Kamelot, right? And immediately when I think of that, right, I think of, you know, back in the olden days, you know. So now my memory's like set in the castle era of things, and it probably ain't got nothing to do with nothing. But I like to think that them calling themselves Kamelot, they might draw some references to that. And of course, this is the first song of theirs that I've heard, so I could be completely wrong. But all right, let's get into it.
Cemetery sky, come red and deep. Watch the oceans rising high. It's a human stain. Talk about the growing hunger. Ask why with deep concern. Don't you think the human race is sees less living? But it hurts to be alone in the front. In this time we're driftwood passing by. Don't you wish you were a child again? Just for a minute, just for a minute.
Okay, first off, absolutely amazing vocals. I absolutely love it when vocalists push out as much as they can with that control, with their breath, to kind of give us more of that pain and that emotion and that kind of like that suffering and everything. And it kind of had like a nice like brightness to it as well as he was singing it, especially with the piano melody in the background that kind of reinforced "Don't You Wish You Was a Child" once more, you know, kind of playful melody that you would hear. Another thing that he said was driftwood, you know, lying in, you know, what he said. Let's go back just a little bit. What do you say? Just a minute. In this silent tide, we're driftwood passing by. So that's interesting, right? Silent tide being like life, and we're driftwood passing by. Now, when you think about driftwood, right, it floats, right? You just staying just barely above surface. Well, not barely. You staying above surface, right? So that's pretty much you. Like, you know, as we going through life, we get into like these autonomous. You guys know what I'm trying to say. Kind of methods where we're just letting life just pass us by without actually being here in the present. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of that is because different type of problems and stuff that we face. So we just kind of float. And when he said, "Don't you wish you was a child once with a minute more?" You start thinking, all right, well, when you were a child, you barely got any responsibilities, right? As a matter of fact, you are your most curious, right, between like the ages of like 0 and like 7, before you start establishing some type of sense of right and wrong, right? But when you a child, the ignorance is bliss, right? So don't you wish you was a child a minute more? That's what I'm getting with that. Okay. We got that melody again.
Hear the ticking of the clock, the sound of life itself. No one really wants to die, to save the world. Tell me that you told us asunder from how we fail to learn, and tell me at the end goes under. Where's your anger now? So it has to be alone.
know, with 2 minutes left, right? As I'm starting to listen to more like metal and rockish songs, I'm starting to understand where where the solos go in. You know what I'm saying? And I absolutely love when people transition, or when metal bands transition into the solos, and they leave it on such a note to where it's like a cliffhanger almost, like you just dying to hear what the rest of they're gonna say. Now, if it is indeed going to be a solo, then it's probably going to at least be a couple of minutes, not a couple of minutes, but at least a minute long. I did want to go back to this part right here. Let's see. Hear the ticking of a clock, right? The sound of life itself. Yo, I swear on everything, I have this issue, especially when I come home from work and I know I got to do like some reactions. I enjoy doing this, but it's just like the time, right? So hear the ticking of clock, the sound of life itself. The most valuable thing that you have being alive is time. It's the most valuable thing, right? And it's something that you should spend very, very, very wisely. But like he said, driftwood, right? We're just floating, right? We might as well be robots. Right? So let's see. No one really wants to die to save the world, right? You got all these people who, like, for instance, all the stuff that's going on in the world, people make tweets, people make all kinds of stuff and make it seem like they want to do some like really, really good. But when it comes time to pull the trigger, people were like, oh, wait a minute, I was just making a suggestion. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really want to do it. But so that's what I got from that part of the lyrics. And I don't mean to break down every single lyric, it's just the ones that speak out to me. And then, okay, and this kind of building up on what he just said. And tell me, as the earth goes under, where's your anger now, right? You weren't angry before, but now you want to be angry, right? Or sorry, when the earth goes under, now you like super sad and everything, but you didn't do anything to stop it before, right? So where is your anger now, right? Okay. Now I think we're about to get into some solo. So let's end right about here. So I end it. Okay. Oh, and I meant to say there's like some type of growl or something, especially during the chorus. I don't know how to explain it. It must be done by the bass, right? That can kind of represent like that underlining kind of what do you want to call it, like anger, or like growling, something like bubbling up from the inside, anger, right? Maybe.
Asunder, the beating from a heart of stone, the loss of your divine prosperity, cause it costs to be alive, my fool, and this life that someone really gave to you, that's the
Okay, and then it ends with like more of those like tick sound elements and everything, like tick, 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 like you hear on like one of them old clocks, man. I'm sitting there thinking about that one that Batman. I can't remember. It was a Batman movie I watched, and I believe he hid his lair for some reason. He hid his lair in a clock, and that sound of that clock's making this. I don't know why I'm thinking of Batman right now. It's so weird. Okay, so these last couple of lyrics, right? The beating from a heart of a stone, the beating from a heart of a stone, the loss of your divine prosperity. Right. And I like to think of loss of your divine prosperity is when I think about this, right? I think that divine prosperity, like for instance, if you think of it from like a like a Christian point of view, there are certain ages where, for those who are Christian, and Christian beliefs, there's a certain age where, you have like the Lord's grace, you know what I mean? Because you don't understand right from wrongs, and you won't be held responsible for the actions because you don't know what you're doing, right? So I believe that that age range is the loss of your divine prosperity as soon as you leave it. You know what I'm saying? So the beat from a heart of stone, now you got to think about it. A heart of stone, when your heart turns stone, it's because of repeated actions, right? that you do, and before you know it, you've hardened over, which means you can't change your mind, you can't change your way in life, and something like that. Let's see, let's go forward just a little bit. This is interesting because it costs to be alive, my friend. Like, even if you just sit around and you just do nothing, it still costs, right? And I like to associate that cost with you basically are aging, right? You gotta eat, you gotta sleep, and all this stuff just ticks away at your life, right? Because it costs to be alive. Those are the costs. And so in this life that someone merely gave to you, you know, whether it be to a higher power, it's almost like you don't want to be alive because it costs, right? And time's just ticking away. And that's the price you pay minute by minute. You beg for a minute more. I was just saying, you know, time is the most valuable thing that we have, right? And you're always begging. You always need more time. If only I had just this. If only I had just that. You do that all day long, baby. Okay. I really like this song, and then it ended with some TikTok elements to even seal the deal. And I was just sitting here thinking about this album artwork, right? Ghost opera, right? And now that I'm sitting here thinking about that, I'm thinking about what I heard in the background. We definitely had some operic sounds in there, right? The type of elements that you would hear in an opera. Now, an opera is, of course, everything's mostly vocal, right? But we heard vocals in there, right? We heard a little bit of highs, have some lows. I heard some rumbling in there, but that might have been just the bass. But ghost, right? Opera, giving it the sense of like illusion, or like afterlife, or a shell of your current self, which is interesting, right? Because it's like the human stain. Right? Okay. Because you're talking about, okay, I think I kind of get the idea of what this was. I did like this. I do kind of like these shorter ones as well, because then I give me more time to kind of dive deep into it without making it like a 20-minute video. So Patreon, I definitely like these short songs just like this. It's just enough for me, just juicy enough for me to dissect and, you know, not make the video excessively long for you guys. Because I know your time is valuable. Hey, look, y'all like how I worked that in? Hey, Todd, okay. All right, now, that's the end of this video. If you enjoyed the content, leave a like and subscribe. Dave's out.